No need to worry. You will live if you're treated right away.
How could
Yo, if you not watching Nina the Starry Bride, then where you at? Yo, for real, for real, for real. Blowing my expectations out of the water. Nina the Starry Bride has just been such a pleasure to watch. And honestly, this made me, even though it was, gruesome and the content was pretty heavy, it just made me smile. I was like, yeah, fucking get him, Nina. Like, get him. Get that prince. And if you're like me and you have read a lot of romance novels, or if you have read a lot of like romance, mangas, or like, when of like villainous stuff, or, the girl who tames the beast, or the girl who tames the king, or the, like the girl who like, just like breaks the norm, then you know that Nina's gonna break through this dude's barrier so hard. And she took the first steps today, right? She met him, and not only does she have the same name as his pet, which is a huge start, but she just refuses to break like these other girls. And he called her bluff, but she called his bluff of like, if cutting me would make you so happy, do it. And he did. But she took that as, when the moment that he's like, don't worry, like I'm gonna see her body, she was like right there. She's like, got you, motherfucker, right there. She's like, I'll be your queen. You just admitted it. And she's just breaking all the norms outside of the very timid girls who have come here before, because she's not a traditional princess. She grew up in the slums. She didn't grow up with a gold and silver spoon in her mouth. Like, she grew up like with scraps. So like anything is better than where she came from. And she has a direct comparison through her life of, being born in a good situation and being thrown into a horrible one and then getting out into another one. So she's lived through a lot of different stuff. And I just think that the way that the episode ended, and just like her making that commitment to the prince, and like really just like, with blood, and just like, hitting him with the blood, like, oh my God. Like, the problem is we have eyes, or golden eye dude, everyone, eyes, something like that. The golden eye dude, the problem is that, that's her first love. But, if she begins to break through this guy's barrier, and he begins to like open up and be different than what he's been like before, like there's a chance to where, I don't know about the Nina to him side, because, she still holds the other guy in her heart. But if she begins to break him down like that, there's a chance to where he actually legitimately begins to fall for her. And you could tell already at the end, kind of after he did what he did, which was very in character. And he was probably thinking like, how dare you, right? Like, you're just gonna run away like all the other girls. Like, you could tell he felt remorse and regret after the fact. And that's a big feeling to feel, especially when the girl, even after the moment like that, doesn't react as like in expectations. Like, oh my God, it's just so good. Then everything else was really cool too. I love that she made her first friend. I love that, I don't like that she got in trouble because she protected her first friend, but I love that she did end up protecting her first friend. I like her attendant. Very like, just very cool and realistic. I like her attendant quite a bit. And I like how, because she's trying to exude happidness and exude this alternate, like persona. And she's trying to take it from a place of like, I had nothing, and here I can eat good meals. I have a great bed. Like, what's there's not to be happy about? And I love how she's kind of breaking barriers outside of the prince with everybody else. Like when she was walking around, people were like, oh, I can't help but stare at her eyes. They're just so blue. And I find myself actually, locking eyes with her now and acknowledging her existence. And I just thought it was just so cool. So Nina the Starry Bride, I just think it's just, like, I'm still smiling. Like, it's just so good. This episode was, can I say it was a 10 out of 10? Like, even if I were to put on my reviewer hat, I think this episode, I was just so absorbed into everything that was happening. Nina was so expressive this episode. All the expressions that they drew was so good. Learning about the prince, finding out that he's kind of just this maniacal piece of work, but there's probably something good within him. It's just so cool. I love stories like that. I'm a big sucker for stories like that. And it has now, I feel like it's now, we're starting like this second arc of Nina, and it's just nailing it. So Yeah, I'm just very pleased. I thought this episode was just so good. I think it was a 10 out of 10. Even with my reviewer hat on and just my viewer hat, viewer hat is just, did I like it? Was it entertained? Reviewer hat was like, let me like pick at it. There was nothing that I would really nitpick this episode, and that's a pretty tall hill, tall mountain to climb, and it just like it shot over Everest. So good. All right, Nina the Starry Bright, episode 5, fantastic, must watch. I watched the dub this week, so I actually watched the dub, not the sub. Because I watched it later in the day, I was able to watch the dub. The dub is really, really, really good. So if you didn't watch the dub, totally okay. Give it a shot, especially if you like to watch anime as you are maybe, scrolling on Twitter, or maybe you're playing on the Switch or your PlayStation Portal or your Steam Deck or something, and you want to be doing something and watching anime. This is definitely a great one for it. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next week for episode 6, Nina the Starry Bride. Fantastic. Peace.